So this is the second part of 1.5 where we are factoring to solve quadratic equations. So we're going to keep on with that trend. So again, here we have a trinomial that we're going to want to factor so that we can solve using the zero product property. But before we can factor, we have to have all of our terms on one side, and your equation has to be equal to 0. So our first step is to move the x squared, move the negative 14 over with the x squared plus 9. So we'd add it to both sides. Now it's equal to 0. So now we can figure out what multiplies to 14 and adds to 9. Again, if I'm going through the factors, I'm going to say 1 and 14, 2 and 7. Oh, 2 and 7 work. So I'm going to have x plus 2 times x plus 7. And then I'm going to set each of those equal to 0. So x plus 2 equals 0 and x plus 7 equals 0. So I find out that x could be negative 2, but also x is negative 7. All right, now in number 6, it's already set equal to 0, so we don't have to do anything to move it around before we start as far as getting it equal to 0, but we do have to move it around to put it in standard form. You might notice that our b term is here at the end and our c term's in the middle. That's no bueno. So we need to flip-flop those, put our b term in the middle and our c term at the end, so that we can start the factoring process. Now we're going to have to split the middle on this one because our leading coefficient is something other than 1. So we start by taking 2 times negative 3. That gives us negative 6. We want something that multiplies to get negative 6, but adds to get negative 5. So if you go through the factors of negative 6, start with like 1 and negative 6. Well, that's already there. 1 and negative 6 gives you negative 5. So we want to split this negative 5 into those values. It doesn't matter which one you put first. Some of you might have put the 1 first. That would be okay. I put the negative 6 first. Then we want to do factoring by grouping. So we're going to group the first 2 together, group the second 2. The GCF of the first 2 is 2x with an x minus 3 left over. The second 2 don't have anything in common, but you always have to pull out at least 1. So we have x minus 3. So, common factor wise, we have that x minus 3. And then the stuff that's left over, 2x plus 1 in that second parentheses. Set both of those equal to 0. And solve. So we end up with x equals 3 and x equals negative 1/2. Again, as I tell you in all the videos, please pause often and work these out yourself and then come back and check and see if you got them right. All right, number 7. Here again, we need to get everything on one side and put in the right order before we can get started. So we need to add that 5x. That 5x is our b term or our middle term. So when we add it over, we need to make sure we stick it in the middle and not at the end. So it's really important that it's in the right order. Then we're going to take 12 times negative 3, that's negative 36. And we want something that multiplies to get negative 36, but adds to get 5. So you can go through your list. 1 and negative 36, 2 and negative 18, 3 and negative 12, 4 and negative 9. Now 4 and negative 9, that gives me a negative 5. But I want a positive 5. So I was close there, but all I have to do is switch the signs, because negative 4 and 9 will still give me negative 36, but when I add them, they'll give me a positive 5. All right, so negative 4 and 9 are the ones that I want, my numbers for the middle. So I'm going to split my middle. And again, it doesn't matter which one you put first. I'm putting the 9 first, but you could put the negative 4 first. Now we have 4 terms, so we're going to factor by grouping. Group those first 2 together. Find the GCF, which happens to be 3x. Factor that out, 4x plus 3. And then same for the next. Find the GCF, factor it out. And in that case, it was -1, leaving us 4x plus 3. All right, so our factors here, we have the common 4x plus 3 that we factor out, leaving us with 3x minus 1 in our second parentheses. We can set each of those now equal to 0 and solve. So subtract 3, divide by 4, add 1, divide by 3. We end up with x equals 1/3 and x equals -3/4. Now so far all of these that we have done have been quadratics, all giving us 2 answers. And these values that we're finding, these values for x, are our x-intercepts, where our graph is crossing the x-axis. But the next one we're going to look at is a cubic. Okay, we're still going to solve it very similarly to what we've done before because it has 4 terms. And what do we do every time something has 4 terms? Well, we just did it up here on number 7. You factor by grouping. So you're going to group the first 2 together and the second 2 together. Find the GCF. So in that first 2, x squared is our GCF, and leaving us with x plus 4. And in the second one, we have a -9, also leaving us with x plus 4. That means we can take an x plus 4 out, and we have x squared minus 9. Now, a lot of people would stop there, but x squared minus 9 actually factors again. So make sure to take a look at that. X squared minus 9 is the difference of squares that we talked about in the first part of this. That needs to factor to x plus 3, x minus 3. Then we set all 3 of those equal to 0. So x plus 4 equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0, and x minus 3 equals 0. Giving us 3 answers, -4, -3, and 3. And then just as a visual reminder of what it is that we're solving or finding here, -3 and 4 on our x-axis, and then +3. Those are the 3 places our graph is crossing. So this is a graph that looks like that-ish. Not the best drawing, but you get the idea. So those are the 3 different places that it is crossing, and those are the answers that we found to tell us where those x-intercepts are.